Good morning, everyone! Today's video is brought to you by paggeoco. It is a malt beverage, a malt energy beverage that has all the same things that energy drinks have in them, except they also have 12% alcohol by volume, 24 proof in this gigantic can of alcohol. And it's 11 o'clock. There was a news story on this stuff on the news around town that kids were going into 7-Elevens and buying these things, and the 7-Eleven clerks were thinking that they were energy drinks, even though it says, contains alcohol. Ooh, land of mercy. Today, we're going to talk about the teabaggers. No, it's not the people that dip their balls into people's mouths, as you might have guessed. No, I'm talking about the idiot conservative Republicans that are rallying around Sarah Palin and the very far right of politics in the United States. It was a stick-ham conversation that prompted all of this. There was a seemingly intelligent person that was on there who was a Republican. Don't hold that against him. But he was talking about the Tea Party movement and how valid it was and how awesome it was. Now, I wanted to know if he knew about the specific ironies of the Tea Party movement, so I asked him a couple of questions. This is all culminating to one large ideation that has to do with Tea Party people and the movement itself, but I'll get to that at the end of the video. The amazingly funny and ironic part about Tea Party people is that it is about a bunch of wealthy Americans who are upset about higher tax rates under the Obama administration, which I think is funny on a couple of different levels. Most Tea Party protests cost taxpayer money. For instance, the Tea Party protest that went on in November in Washington, D.C., and it was hosted by 4 representatives: Michelle Bachmann, Tom Price, Todd Akin, and Steve King, all representatives. Now, in preparation for this protest, a soundstage had to be erected at the main protest site, and it cost $14 grand. Well, the representatives split it. But here's the funny part. All of the representatives used their congressional spending allowance to make it happen. They billed this share of their cost for the soundstage system to the people of their respective states. Now, on the surface, it seems like a bit of wasteful spending on the part of the taxpayers of the respective states of those representatives for an anti-spending, anti-tax movement. Oh, wait a second. When you scratch the surface and get down to the actual meat of the thing, it's that too. Fucking idiots. The second point that I wanted to make about the Tea Party idiots is about the Tea Party itself and what it represents. Some of you might know a little bit of history about the Boston Tea Party and the East India Trading Company and the British government, and the reason why we dumped all that tea into the harbor in Boston. Somebody recently made a comment that someone should take Fox News and dump it into the harbor in Boston. Now that's a fucking salient point. Let me read you a little snippet from a Wikipedia page. This is actually about the Boston Tea Party, which occurred in 1773. Even with the Townsend duty in effect, the Tea Act would allow the East India Company to sell tea more cheaply than before, undercutting the price offered by smugglers. In 1772, legally imported bohea, the most common variety of tea, sold for about 3s per pound. I'm guessing that they're saying 3s equals 3 shillings. After the Tea Act, colonial consignees would be able to sell it for 2 shillings per pound, just under the smuggler's price of 2 shillings 1d, which I'm guessing is a penny. Realizing that the payment of the Townsend duty was politically sensitive, the company hoped to conceal the tax by making arrangements to have it paid either in London once the tea was landed in the colonies, or have the consignees quietly pay the duties after the tea was sold. The effort to hide the tax from the colonists was unsuccessful. Now, this is clearly an effort for a large corporation to work with a imperialistic government to fleece the people out of their money. I'm going to leave it there and let you decide whether or not that is an incredible irony with the Tea Party. If you really can't, then I can't help you guys. I can't help you. The interesting thing about the Tea Party movement is what I was discussing before, and I told you that I was going to come back to at the end of my video. The interesting thing about the Tea Party movement is that it has nothing to do with taxation without representation, which the Tea Party of 1773 was pretty much all about. It has nothing to do with that. It is a slogan, a political slogan, that is now attracting every single conservative, right-wing Republican viewpoint, stapled to it and moved throughout the country because of its popularity, because of the idiot stat of conservative Republican out there that most of the people in the United States make up. The conservative Republicans in politics at large in the United States understand that most conservative Republicans who are citizens are a bunch of fucking raving lunatics and idiots, but they have money and they spend it. You utter the catchphrase Tea Party and it is automatically attached to government and taxation without representation. However, in the minds of these idiots, it is government unfairly taxing the people of the United States. Which is amazing to me. It's a fucking unbelievable statement. And it just shows our unwillingness to learn anything about history, to follow anything about history, to be responsible about political action, etc., etc., etc. They're using the Tea Party to negate the message of change so they can have a chance at winning the presidency in 2012. That's the only reason why it exists. Only reason. It doesn't matter if it's correct. It doesn't matter if it's historically, in context. It doesn't matter if there is a real gripe here. It doesn't matter if you said that everything about the Tea Party is wrong. As long as it's a rallying cry for conservative Republicans around the country, it doesn't matter what it's about. It could be about fucking fruit baskets and the dogs not shitting on their neighbor's lawn. It doesn't matter what it's about. As long as it rallies the Republican base, that's all that matters. Most conservative Republicans I know, especially extremists like Palin and the fucking ilk and all the bullshit that goes on with the Republican Party in the United States, are a bunch of fucking idiots when it comes to politics. They have this cognitive dissonance that allows themselves to fuck their own lives up. They call the government of the United States socialist now that Obama is in power, and I assert that any government has an amalgamation of a capitalist society and a little bit of socialism in order to keep everyone with their rights intact. Everyone should have the right to be healthy, no matter or not whether they were born with some kind of physical deformity or they happen to be unfortunate enough to have a disease that is totally out of their control. Everyone should have a right to health insurance, and that is the main argument. These people end up sounding like complete fucking idiots, and the American people will figure that out. But you'll always have the fucking teabagging idiot motherfuckers out there just to get a few laughs out of. So I just wanted to bring some of that to light, and if some of you didn't know what was going on with the Tea Party, I'm going to go now. Today's my day off, and I'm going to drink a couple more of these and have a good time. So until next time, folks, bye-bye.